Welcome to another episode of Chasing Green Arrows. This is our weekly predictions episode. I've got with me my brother Mustafa Ismail. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. A lot of football this week, enjoying it.
Yeah, man. It's the Champions League was back this week. There's a second set of matches today. Full Premier League weekend coming up Friday, starting on Friday, in fact. So
Yeah.
why don't we get into our predictions from the
Yeah.
Friday match itself? There's
Yeah.
one match on Friday, Fulham versus Wolves. What do you
Yeah,
think?
so the start of game week 31 is a Friday, like you said. Fulham, Wolves, I think both teams lost. Fulham, I think Wolves fought really well against West Ham. They almost came back and equalized as well. They were 3-0 down, and it was 3-2 in the end. So they've shown that, glimpses this season that they're not an easy team to beat, our Wolves. I think Nuno's done a magnificent job. Yes, they probably didn't get as many results as they wanted, but with Jimenez also not there, I think that's a huge miss. If he was there, I think they could have even won that game against West Ham. Defensively, yes, there have been errors, but I think there's some games where Nuno set them up really well as well. So, it's been a topsy turvy season for Wolves. But if they get Jimenez back and they sign a couple of players next season, I think they'll still be a really good team. Fulham, on the other hand, facing relegation, they needed a result against Villa, at least a draw, but they just couldn't get that. Another loss for them. They've got a lot of draws this season, but I think they need more than that. And this game I just feel that Wolves will nick it. I think I'll go 2-0 Wolves. I think it'll be a clinical performance.
All right, that's a fair prediction. So moving on to Saturday, April 10th, the first game of the day is a very spicy game, very attacking-minded game. Man City versus Leeds. It could be a goal fest. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it can be a goal fest, and also you have to take into consideration that City are playing in the Champions League. They just played a really tough game against Dortmund, so they have the squad though. They can rotate, and I think they will rotate. You won't see like some of the starters in that Champions League game play against Leeds, but at the same time, they have quality players all around to come and fill in. So I think City are favorites going into this game. If they do play a few players who play Champions League, you might see a fatigue here and there. I don't know. I think the league is almost wrapped up. They will win the league. This
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how. I think it's just a matter of time right now. But I don't know. This game leads, maybe can catch them. I think I'm going for a draw 2-2. City favorites. But I just feel that Leeds might score as well, considering City's tough fixtures in the Champions League.
All right, and continuing on, Liverpool who are coming off a really good win against Arsenal. At Liverpool, Aston Villa.
Yeah, they're coming off a really good win against Arsenal, but then they got a bad loss against Real Madrid.
I wanted to balance it out.
Yeah, 3-1 in the Champions League. I think that will be a cause for concern, but they'll want to carry that Arsenal form against Villa, and also it's a very important game because they're going to play Real Madrid at home as well. So a win against Villa will give them confidence going into that European game. Still top four up for grabs. Liverpool will need to win this game. It's a very important game, this Aston Villa game, so they can't take it lightly. They have injuries, so they don't have the squad that the City do, so they can't really rotate as much. So it's very, very interesting to see who Klopp plays. Will he rest like the likes of Salah and Mane? Will he not? Like I said, they don't have that squad depth, so I don't know what's exactly going to happen with them. But if they do play the regular team, they're going to be fatigued. I think that was a tough game there in Madrid. I'm probably going to go with a 1-1 draw.
All right, cool. And then the last game of Saturday, Chelsea versus Crystal Palace.
Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Chelsea got hammered last week. I did not expect that. The red card played a part of it, but I think still they had possession. But defensively, they were poor. And you don't, even Thiago making that mistake, 2 yellow cards, it was poor. Those are defensive errors. So they need to work on that. It was surprising because they've done brilliantly defensively. Going forward again, they just managed 2 goals. Yes, I understand 10 men, but it's been a problem for them under Tuchel scoring goals even all season, to be honest with you. So they need to bounce back. I think they need a win. Palace, on the other hand, they've not been in the greatest of form. Crystal Palace, yes, Zaha has been there. Eze has been impressive. But I think they got a really good point against Everton. So that'll give them some confidence going to this Chelsea game. They didn't let, going to Goodison Park and getting a point, it's a good thing for Palace. So I'm probably going to go, I'll go Chelsea 2-1. I just feel that they'll bounce back and hopefully they won't make any errors for their sake. But let's go Chelsea 2-0. Chelsea 2-0 against Palace.
All right. And speaking of teams who are not doing that well overall, Newcastle versus Burnley is the first fixture of Sunday. What do you think?
Newcastle versus Burnley. I think actually the Chelsea Palace. Sorry, change that again. I'm going to go 2-1. I just feel Zaha might score. But yeah, Burnley
Got it.
2-1 to Chelsea. Yeah, sorry about that. But Newcastle versus Burnley. I think Newcastle has been very poor. Steve Bruce, I don't know how he's still in the job. A lot of people are surprised. They can't really explain. But a big result against Spurs. They managed to fight till the end and get that point. It'll definitely help, but they still need more. They need a victory here and there. I think this sort of game they'll need to win. I think if they want to stay up. Otherwise, they're looking like a relegation team right now. But against Spurs, no matter whatever Spurs is going through, I think for Newcastle it is a big point, and they should get some confidence going to that. Burnley haven't been the Burnley we've seen in the start of the season. Defensively, very shrewd. They've conceded quite a few goals. What was it, 2-0 up against Southampton, 2-0 up, and then conceding 3 goals. That's very unlike Burnley, unlike Sean Dyche's team. I was very surprised. Normally, yeah, if they concede, but like having a lead and then conceding that to a 2-goal cushion, I was very surprised. Defensively, I don't know. They started leaking goals. They need to work on that. I don't know what the issue is exactly, but
they're usually very tight at the back.
They're very tight at the back, and that's been a worry. Like they're used to keeping clean sheets, and they haven't done that. And it's not like them to give up leads like that. So yeah, they'll need to buck up against Newcastle. I think everything will be on the line in this game. It'll be a closely fought game. I'm gonna go 1-1.
Okay, fair shout. And two teams who I guess are in better form, and definitely West Ham is in great form. Jesse Lingard's a new player, completely reinvented person. Next game, West Ham versus Leicester City.
I think this will have huge consequences for the top 4. I think both teams are in contention. West Ham, I can't believe it. They're actually in the top 4 and they're like fighting for it right now. And Leicester, on the other hand, they lost to City, but you can't really blame them. Like City have been dominant this season. With Maddison coming back now from injury, he played. I think he came on a sub in the last game. But him coming back into the team, it'll give Leicester a lot of confidence. If they can have him, Vardy fit, then even with Iheanacho, I think they'll complement each other well. But Vardy hasn't scored that many goals from open play. I think I was reading something 6 goals from open play this season, so he needs to work on that. Vardy, he's an excellent finisher, no doubt, but I think Maddison's inclusion will help him. Whereas West Ham, Jay Ling's on fire. I think he's just changed. Like, I mean, they've been good this season, but like he's just given them that edge, scoring those goals. And with Antonio as well complementing, it's been brilliant. But defensively, last 2 games has been a worry. 3-0 up against Arsenal, 3-3, and then 3-0 up against Wolves, and then 3-2. Yeah. They almost let that game go as well. So getting into those positions, they have no problem scoring goals, but then they need to be defensively more solid, especially when they score early goals. A bit of a worry because they have some really good players like Kofal, they have Cresswell, but they haven't been tight enough. Maybe they're getting relaxed. They need to be on the game. They need to be focused, and that's one thing that I would, if I was the West Ham manager David Moyes, I would look at. But apart from that, they've had a magnificent season. It's going to be a great game, I think, very entertaining game. I'm going West Ham to nick it 2-1.
Ooh, that's a close one.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in Jay Lings these days.
Dude, he's out of nowhere. He's just performing like maybe the player that Manchester United want him to be, right? And this is what they kind of signed Jesse Lingard for in the beginning, as a youth player. So it's like, if he can take this form back to United, that'd be great for United fans. And speaking of United, I would say, being a little biased, match of the weekend, Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur. What's going to happen? This is going to be an intense match.
So the reverse fixture was 6-1 at Old Trafford for Tottenham with a red card. I don't think it's going to be like that. I hope I'm right. Like, it won't be like a 6-1 for Tottenham, but I think it's a big game. Both teams, I think Spurs, very low on confidence right now. They've gotten out of the Europa League. And they only have the Carling Cup to play for. They I think against Newcastle, they should have won that game. They're still in contention for top 4, but they can't drop points like that, like they did against Newcastle. If they won that game, they would give them so much confidence going into this game. So I think that's a problem. Gareth Bale, that situation is tricky. He came on for 1 minute against Newcastle. I think he should have played more, to be very honest with you. I don't know if his comments were taken to heart, but I think he is a match winner. Son coming in into the team, that should provide them with something, but defensively has been a problem. And Mourinho relies on a strong defense, and they've been leaking goals. So his whole method goes to waste, like if he can't get that defense to strengthen. So they'll have to work on that. Manchester United, on the other hand, it's not been the greatest season if you look at it like while you're watching them, but in terms of results, it's been pretty good. It's been really good. They're second place right now, going into the run-in. A lot of people are saying they're almost close to confirming top four. I still feel that they have tough fixtures, so they have to be aware of it. But credit to them, they're getting the results. It hasn't been pretty all the time. You saw against Brighton, it was a what do you call it, like a fighting kind of display. Like it wasn't a clean display.
Very rough and tough,
very
like
rough.
Gritty is the word. Gritty.
A gritty performance from Manchester United. Yeah. So they haven't played fluent football all the time, and it's been that kind of season. I think also the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea being so inconsistent has helped them stay there, but they've gotten results as well. They've gone on unbeaten streaks as well. So credit to them for that. This game is going to be a tough game, I think, for United. I think Mourinho will, playing against his old club will always be up for this game. Spurs are clinical on the counter if they do get those chances, but I think United can exploit the defense as well. They have that pace. Martial, I think, is injured, but I think the likes of Rashford, Bruno putting in those balls. I think Greenwood will get confidence after scoring as well. So I'm tipping United 2-1.
2-1. All right. Yeah, it's going to be a close call, but I'm with you on that just because I want United to win. And the last game of Sunday is Arsenal versus Sheffield. I don't know. Can Arsenal bounce back?
So whenever I predict Arsenal to win, they lose. When I predict them to lose, they win. I think they will bounce back. But the worrying thing was against Liverpool, it was a very poor performance. They've lost so many games this season, but they haven't played poor, they played some good football while losing as well. It's just stupid mistakes. But when you make silly mistakes plus play bad football, it looks very ugly to watch. And I think they'll be very disappointed with that result. Arteta will, he has a lot of work to do. He will, I'm sure, talk to his players and get them geared up for this game because they can't afford a draw or loss now. They're already 9th or 10th in the season in the table, and they need to end the season on a high. I think Europa League is what they have to play for because I don't think they can make it top 4 in the Premier League. So Europa League is what they have. They're going to focus on that. But having said that, they'll need to get a few wins to give them that confidence going into the Europa League. So I will go with the 2-0 Arsenal win because Sheffield has been really poor this season. They're going to get relegated, unfortunately. And despite having such a good season last season, they just haven't lived up to that hype, the task this season.
All right, and so we have 2 games on Monday. So it's an extended, long weekend kind of week in the Premier League. Southampton versus West Brom, both coming off victories. West Brom flying high. Southampton led by Danny Ings. Redmond, shameless plug, you were on Premier League Fan Zone TV and you wanted Redmond into the side for Don Hutchison. Do you think Redmond's going to have an impact this week? Well, who's going to win this? Because I think West Brom, they did well because they had the red card, but then they were very clinical. So it'll be a very interesting game. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the problem they've had this whole season was finishing goals, and there was no problem against Chelsea. Those goals that they scored, yes, they had that advantage of the extra man, but the way they were scoring the goals were unbelievable. They're scoring volleys, some brilliant passing here, switching from one end to the other, switching flanks as well. It was unbelievable football, I think, from them. I haven't seen that. I didn't expect it even with 10 men, to be very honest.
It was out of the blue because we just kept looking at the TV and it's like, goal. Oh, wait, goal. It's like just very fluent.
I really didn't expect them to score 5 goals, even with an extra man. So I think very impressive performance. Southampton, on the other hand, are coming back. They started brilliantly this season, then big dip in form, and that's also due to injuries. I think they've got some players back. Danny Ings is fit. That makes a big difference. Redmond's playing well. Ward-Prowse has been unbelievable on set pieces. I think the defense is also coming back together. But yes, they've been leaking goals, but I think attackingly they've improved. So it won't be easy for West Brom. I think defensively they'll have to be a bit solid, but they're also in really good form. They're fighting for their lives. Sam Allardyce needs to produce some magic, but somehow I feel that Southampton will take this game. I'll probably go 1-0 Southampton. They'll just nick it, I think, even though it can go either way.
All right, and the last game of the weekend, Everton versus Brighton. Not too much going on. Very poor or very amazing for both teams. Brighton have surprisingly been very good defensively this season, especially in the last, let's say, couple of months. Everton have blown maybe hot and cold, but more on the cold side. Maybe their new formation with 2 strikers up front isn't quite working. Just what's your take on the last game of the week?
Yeah, I think Brighton, to be honest with you, have been unlucky at times. They played some really good football against Man United as well. They deserved a point. They didn't get it. There's been a lot of games like that. Maybe up front, they're missing a bit of consistency. Like, yes, Welbeck and Mope have scored on occasions, but they need to be a bit more consistent. Defensively, they're missing Tarek Lamptey, but they're still doing a really good job. I think with him, like providing that space in the flank and that width going forward, that pace as well, I think that will do them a lot of good when he comes back. But apart from that, I think, yes, they've been unlucky. Graham Potter, I think, has been sensational coach. He's very positive. I think his press conferences have been brilliant as well. It's not like he's in denial. It's just like he understands the situation. And to be honest, if you watch their games, they're not playing bad football. They're actually playing decent football. Just sometimes the rub of the green is not going their way. So they're playing against Everton side, who've been very poor at home, but very good away from home. So it's been that kind of season for Everton. Again, hot and cold, like Leeds. Ancelotti set them up really good in away games, especially against big teams. But at home is where they've struggled for some reason. I don't know why. And they just struggle to create chances and the league goals as well. So I think they need to be focused. This is going to be a tough game. It's not going to be an easy game. I think I'm going to go for a 1-1. I think Brighton will give them a fight. It won't be that easy for Everton. And even though Everton's away record is really good, so you can't really go by their last game, I'm still going for a 1-1 draw, Brighton versus Everton.
All right, and that was the last game of the week. An exciting lineup of games that's going to be taking place this coming weekend. For all you Premier League fantasy players, Friday is the deadline. It's not Saturday this week, so just make sure you get your teams in. There's some very big matches. I think very interesting matches as well. It's looking forward to being a very action-packed weekend. So thank you for your predictions.
Yeah, thank you for hosting me. It was a lot of fun, and catch you soon. We'll try to do a fantasy episode as well. But thank you so much. I enjoyed the games.